Dr. Braverman is the past president and founder of the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry New York chapter. Dr. Braverman is also New York Magazine's top cosmetic dentist featured in the Best Beauty Doctors issue. And he's a fellow in the International Academy of Dental Facial Aesthetics, FADFE. Dr. Braverman is one of 2 dentists in New York listed in the Castle Conley Guide of the nation's top physicians and cosmetic dentists. And he's also known as the Smile Makeover Dentist for the Maury Povich Show. And now, Dr. Braverman.
Maury Povich Show came to me to do a smile makeover for a wedding makeover for someone on TV. And as such, I became the Maury Povich Smile Makeover Dentist. And those types of things have brought me a lot of traffic to my website since the advent of cosmetic dentistry, dental implants. And I had the type of volume where I could expect to have 6 to 8 consultations a day at one point in time. And of course, since Yelp has been falsely advertising me with a 1 star, even though I had 3 negative reviews and 28 positive reviews, which the real score should be somewhere like a 4.5 star. They take it on themselves to filter or hide or call mistrusting the 28 positive reviews that I've had and show only the 3 negative reviews and decide to publish a 1 star instead of a 4.5 star rating. Needless to say, things like headings like "Stay away like the plague" are not attracting patients who come to my review site. Yelp has a great way to develop this business model. They offer practitioners a free website when they're unsuspecting, and they say fine, and they get all your information, they put it online, and they try to encourage you to become a member and pay a certain amount a month to enhance that website, and they'll do various things to earn that extra money. I never joined Yelp. I didn't need to. I had a very good volume of patients through my reputation and my credentials. This is very good for Yelp too, because I get so much traffic, and anybody going to a review will go, this is what Yelp does. I mean, they give you that free website, which if you don't like what they're saying about you, you ask them to take it down. They refuse to do that, and they maintain that this is public information. The truth is they use those negative reviews for their benefit, to benefit their business and their business model. And how do they do that? Well, a lot of people are fooled by the fact that they're protected by a federal statute which says that they are not responsible for third-party reviews. But that's not the bone of contention I have with Yelp. My bone of contention is that the public never gets to see make a fair evaluation of your reviews. There are always people who are angry or have a gripe or are unsatisfied or will say something that's negative about you. That can't be helped. You can't please all the people all the time. But Yelp doesn't allow all those people who have good things to say to show on your website, because they want those bad reviews. They want somebody to go that has a lot of traffic like me to a site with just bad reviews where they can advertise their paying customers on the same site on the side of the page with 5-star reviews. That's the way they do their business. Now, Is that fair in America? If somebody stood outside my door and said, don't go in there, I could have them arrested. But Yelp's protected against third-party reviews. I don't care about the third-party reviews that are negative so much as the fact that they don't publish the good ones. They call them untrustworthy. What's untrustworthy about patients of mine of long standing that are very satisfied posting reviews for me about the excellent care they get, especially when they're in those kinds of numbers, 28 to 3. It's absurd that they have gotten away with this. I'll tell you why they do it. The reputation companies that are out there to improve reputations for businesses that get negative reviews, they recommend that they make it easy for you to solicit your clientele, your customers, your patients, and get a fair representation of what the public thinks of you. And they make it easy for positive reviews, negative reviews, reviews in general. You don't field the reviews. You just get an opportunity to ask a lot of your contingency to post reviews for you. Like going into a restaurant and you get a little slip of paper and it says, were you happy? Please comment on your service, etc., so forth. You can do that with your patients. Well, obviously, if somebody gets a non-Yelp customer, by the way, gets a couple negative reviews, they would be motivated to go to their contingency and ask them to send in reviews for them so that the people could get a real balanced idea of the nature of your practice. That causes a large volume of reviews to come into Yelp. They show them for one day, and then, for some reason, they deem them filtered or untrustworthy, and they move them to a hidden spot in the website where they're not seen, and they decide to give you a score of 1 star for your 3 negative reviews, and those 28 reviews that come in. Well, what does that do? Think of all the businesses that are responding that way. All those reviews are coming into Yelp, and it's driving their relevancy on the internet up so that they go to the top of the page of review sites. That is very surreptitious, very despicable, and very unfair. And that's what they do, and they do it on purpose. That's their business model. It serves them to have some negative reviews, and we have I have spreadsheets that show that thousands of businesses have well, maybe not thousands, many businesses, which a very, very large percentage of the filtered reviews are positive. Now they're changing that. There's been pressure in San Francisco from the media for them to change it from filtered to untrustworthy. So suddenly all my filtered reviews have come in a section called untrustworthy. These are all real patients, not patients that were here once. I can tell you what my 3 negative reviews, which are killing my business, the stay away from like the plague, that's a young woman who came for teeth whitening. I advised her that that was not a good idea for her because she had internal stain in her teeth from tetracycline treatment as a child for a high fever disease, which made her teeth dark. And the external stain remover would not really change that, and that she would get some result because everybody has external stain, but she was young and it wasn't going to really do her that much good. She posts a review for me. He made me feel crappy about my teeth, and he tried to sell me porcelain veneers. The treatment of choice for a patient with tetracycline stain internally, which is porcelain laminate veneers. I shared that with her, And that's the kind of review I got. The other two bad reviews were both about two people who had not a positive experience with an orthodontist who I had referred them to. Yet, that's the only bad reviews they could muster, and they have headlines like which are very, very negative, and don't anybody searching that sees that and sees it on this website from me with a 1 star, with all the Yelp customers on the right side of the page getting 5-star reviews in my neighborhood, what are they going to do? They have a lot of choices. They don't even get a chance to see my credentials. So, effectively, Yelp is really not only rising to the top of the page on the internet by hiding the good reviews and just keeping the bad reviews, because every business they do that to will flood Yelp with positive reviews, which brings their relevancy up. So they love that. And then if they keep your bad review by giving you a low grade, a 1 star, saying that all your positive reviews are not trustworthy, that allows them to take your traffic and move it over to their customers. So this is what they do. This is why they do it. This is unfair, but is it illegal? Well, I think it probably illegal. False advertising is one thing that they're doing. 2 judges have said that they are in breach of contract. That's another thing. This is what they do. Now, obviously, I was unhappy about this. There's nobody you can speak to at Yelp except a salesman. So you go to a salesman and you say, what can I do about this? And he said, well, if you join Yelp for X dollars a month, and you just count on, you'll be able to submit a request that your negative reviews be evaluated and considered for removal, and you will also be able to apply, in effect, for having your positive reviews shown. Now, of course, we already know why they do this. And the second judge said they never intended to make the change. Well, they didn't make any changes, even though 2 reviews were about an orthodontist that I don't even employ in my office anymore, that does not work here. And one by that young woman who misinterpreted what I was trying to help her with, which was save her money for doing a procedure that was not really work for her, and telling her what she really needed.
That's a question. So the 3 negative reviews, have you tried contacting them, and have you tried resolving with them? Did you try that?
Well, you know what? I have not contacted them because the history on that is that you get into these legal battles and sometimes it comes back to bite you in the butt. Also, I respect anybody's right to say whatever they want. I'm fine with that. I don't really object to their having being disgruntled or something unfair said about me or untrue. All I want is a fair representation of all the reviews. And I know that they don't show them because it benefits their business model not to. And that's the gripe I have with Yelp. And it's cost me, I know where I was. Okay. Extortion. You can't talk to anybody. You got to talk to a salesman. The salesman promises you something can be done if you join. So you join, right? You join and you sign these papers, and included in the papers is if you can't sue them, and if you sue them, you have to go to San Francisco to sue them. Well, the first judge threw that out. The second judge wanted to dismiss the case, just said, well, you have to go to San Francisco to sue him. You can't sue him here in New York. Well, How can you be but she said that there was a breach of contract. How can you be held to a contract that they're in breach of contract on? See, because they did not do what they promised. They did not consider them fairly and take down the bad reviews and put in the good reviews. They never intended to. And that's breach of contract. How can I be held to a contract and a venue in San Francisco when the contract is in breach? Okay, that's the other thing, and that's very subtle extortion. I mean, you're hoping that you can improve your lot, so you join, and you sign this contract, and they try to hold you to it to pay them every month, even though they're advertising a 1-star unfairly and not showing your positive reviews. Now, who would do that? So I didn't do it. Well, they didn't. They dropped it.
So what was the thing that the salesman wanted you to pay for? To show the positive reviews or to filter out the negative reviews?
The salesman was alluding to the fact that if I joined and signed this no suit unless I'm in San Francisco,
right.
If I joined, that I could appeal the negative reviews and I could appeal the positive reviews to be shown. Nothing. I did that. It did no good, and for no good reason. And there was no good reason. And we know what the good reason is. The good reason is they need a person like me who has a high traffic. I'm much more important to them than the $350 a month that I would pay him to join Yelp.
Right.
Okay. And then whatever other services are necessary. I forgot. Now, damages. I happen to do smile makeovers. Porcelain veneers sell in New York for about $2,500 a piece. Top price guys charge $3,000, $3,500. Well, let's make it even $2,000 a piece. A 10 veneer case is $20,000. If you do top and bottom, it's 10 on top, 10 on bottom. It's 20. It's $25,000. So 4 cases is $100,000. How long does it take to get to $1 million over 3 years? I was seeing 6 to 8 patients a day on free consultations for cosmetic work. That's reduced to maybe 3 or 4 a week at this point after Yelp's manipulation of my reviews, their misrepresentation of my reviews, their false advertising of my reviews. This has cost me $1 million. I am suing them for $1 million damages and $1 million punitive damages, which is what they've done to everybody else. And I'm not going to give up. I will have my day in court. They would like to deprive me of my day in court. They've got a lot of money. They've got a lot of lawyers. But I will have my day in court. If I can get in front of a jury, what I have said right here, I don't think there's a person in the world that couldn't agree that this should be stopped.
Right.
They are hiding behind a federal statute that protects them against the reviews of third-party people. What about all the good reviews? What about their freedom of speech? What about denying them that same freedom that they are protected by with that federal statute? I agree with that to a certain extent, except for how poorly it can be interpreted, misused, manipulated, and taken advantage of for their own business model and their own benefit. And that's what this is all about.
Right. Wow.
I have sent a letter to Senator Schumer, my congressman. He is a wonderful standard bearer for the little guy who is unfairly treated. I hope he gets the attention of my letter.
Got a question for you. So,
sure.
When have you started noticing?
How am I doing?
You're doing good. You're doing good. I mean, there you go. Perfect. this is good, you're like, ah.
Well, it's really upsetting.
Yeah.
I mean, you lose your business.
Absolutely.
You have to lay off personnel. This is really something for congressmen to look at, because the small business owner is being hurt by Yelp.
Yeah.
It benefits the small business owner that advertises with them, and they make the profit, of course. But the small businesses that are being hurt every day, thousands of suits are filed. I mean, I don't know how many. I read an article where it was an overwhelming number of lawsuits against Yelp. This is not an accident. These are the reasons, and this has to come to light. They have to be stopped. And it's causing the loss of jobs. I mean, businesses are going out of business because the internet is really the way people do business today, the way they find each other, where they decide to go. These review companies have to be regulated so that this type of unfairness does not exist. They're the only ones that do it that way. There are a lot of legitimate review companies, Dr. Google, Google Plus. There are many. Nobody has this algorithm. Nobody does this but Yelp.
Yeah, I agree.
And it needs to be regulated.
When did you start noticing the drop in the free consultation walk-ins?
Well, it's another thing. They've got these 3 negative reviews that came from patients who were in my office once and had a bad experience, and 28 reviews of long-term care by patients who've had miraculous treatment that they are so overjoyed with that they can't wait to post a review. You read them, and you'll see, go to the positive reviews and read them, and you'll see how the patients feel. That's what needs to come up. And this has been going on for 3 years.
3 years?
3 years.
So you notice?
Yeah. I don't get consultations like I used to get.
Oh, so you.
And where are they? I know what's happening. People are on the internet. They do go to review sites. They do read it, and the same way they used to come to me in droves after my website and reading my credentials. Now I wouldn't come to me if I read that.
Right.
I mean, if I have other good choices. No, So I've noticed that actually subsequent to 2011.
Have you asked anybody walking in, new or existing, if they actually read Yelp or if they actually been affected by that?
Yeah, I actually have asked some, and one lady said, yes, I did read it. It didn't make sense to me. I read further. I found where it was filtered, and I read it, and I'm here. But how many don't ever show up? How many don't ever get here? And how can I tell? I can tell because I used to have 6 or 8 a day. Now I have 2 or 3 a week. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of business.
Right.
That's a lot of patients who are actually being deprived of excellent care. And not to toot my own horn, but that is true.
Right.
And my patients will confirm that. And they should get a chance to express their opinion and have it be shown.
Now, going back to Yelp's offer to, appeal all this stuff. So you actually paid and didn't do anything for it?
That's right. Yeah, I paid and nothing happened.
Nothing happened?
Several months. Yeah. No, I made the appeal. I got an answer that was denied.
Oh, I see. So
both. They denied to retract the negative reviews. They denied publishing the positive reviews. None of them. Not one was worthy of being published.
Oh, I see.
At 28. You know what? And they have another trick. Oh, we just trust our Yelp users. We don't decide this. This happens automatically. And it has to do with trusted Yelp users. Well, I had a patient that came to me once, and had been needed some maintenance on veneers after a number of years, and I fixed her up, and I told her about the Yelp situation, and she said, "Well, I'm a Yelper. I would be happy to put a review on for you, and I will." No, I didn't tell her about it. This is the way it happened. I was talking about, and I never mentioned Yelp. I just said that I got some negative reviews, and I'm asking my patients for reviews. Would you be willing to put some reviews online for me? And she said, not only will I put them online for you, I'll put it on Yelp for you. She didn't even know I had a problem with Yelp. And she was a Yelper, and she had Yelped before, and her review never showed either. So that's a lie. We know why you do it. We know why Yelp does it. I know why you do it. You do it for your model to enhance your income, period. At the expense of others, small businesses, small practitioners. I'm not afraid of you.
Have you talked to other dentists that have similar problems?
Many dentists have heard about my lawsuit against Yelp and have contacted me and want to do a class action suit or anything they could do to help, or they'll appear in court and whatever. Yes.
Oh, wow. So
they just come all the time. My attorney said we're better off just dealing with this ourselves.
Oh, so is the lawsuit still ongoing?
Yes.
Wow, what's the holdup right now? It's just waiting.
Well, right now it's actually with a mediator who is, and then it will go to an appellate court of 4 judges.
I see. Wow.
And I'm hoping I get my day in court.
Wow.
In front of a jury, because I don't think a jury could deny my complaints.
Right.
And They need to be stopped for everyone. This is America. You don't do this in America. You don't get away with this. But they're very slick, because who's willing to come out and say, fight negative reviews? Why do I have negative reviews? That's sour grapes, isn't it? Right. Yeah, it's just sour grapes.
Have you tried asking your happy existing customers to go on there and leave you a review?
Well, I told them to stop going to Yelp, because all they're doing is creating more business for Yelp, because they put them up for one day, then they filter them, hide them, decide they're not trustworthy, and keep just the bad reviews. If a new bad review comes in over 3 years, and one did, now you got 4 bad reviews. They go right up.
Right.
They go right up. But the good reviews, not a chance. All you're doing is helping Yelp when you do that.
Right.
So I tell my patients, please do a review for me. Yes, I would appreciate it if you could take the time to state how you feel about our practice and about your experience in our office. But don't put it on Yelp. Put it on Google.
Yeah. It's smart.
That's what I tell them.
Yeah, eventually. So I don't know if you know, but actually Google's pushing Yelp away because they have their own reviews now.
Yes.
So now all these dentists are moving to.
Well, the problem is, like you found me, and if unbelievably enough, one of the things I was very proud about was being selected by New York Magazine for an interview of 5 of the top cosmetic dentists in Manhattan. What an opportunity! I still, so in my website, there's a line that says. Top NYC cosmetic dentist, New York Magazine, Dr. Maury Povich. That's one of my credentials. Top, if you put in top or best New York City cosmetic dentist, New York Magazine, you know what comes up. You called me because it comes up on the top of the page for Yelp. Yelp has that in that free website they made for me, that line. Yeah. So it comes up with my 1 star. So they take one of my crowning achievements and they turn it into a negative review for me with a 1-star, and they shuffle it right over to their paying clients that are listed all down the page.
Right.
You can, if you do Dr. Mal Braverman reviews, you will see a couple of videos. One is, I think it's called therealscore.com. Okay, you've seen it? And it explains what Yelp's doing as well. There's also a review site, ESIOH, and there is a blog on that. I actually wrote to them a lot of what I'm stating here with you, and it's very well published and written, and so it's in those pages. If anybody ever takes the time to read those or look at those, they'll understand, but they don't. I mean, it's quick on the internet. You've got a certain amount of time but they actually take my credentials and turn them against me, and use them to enhance their paying customers, their Yelp customers.
Now,
and they do this to all non-Yelp customers.
Right. The 28 reviews that you were talking about, were they sort of new accounts, new Yelp accounts, or were they Yelp users for a long time, or what? Do you know?
I wouldn't know whether they were or they weren't. I know that they're patients of mine.
Okay, so
and I just asked patients of mine for reviews, and I know they all went up for one day, and then they were taken down. So they got credit for the relevancy, the volume,
right.
and I went, aha, that's what they're doing. They're getting their volume and their relevancy up by using that negative review. It's not just over to their other patients. To their other clients of Yelp users.
Did those reviews? Did you after these?
They would maintain that they're not trustworthy, and they changed it from filtered to not trustworthy recently because there was a lot of media attention in San Francisco that was on top of them for this, and those 23 good reviews, they were all positive, all filtered.
Were they all
non-trustworthy?
Right.
Now, then I found from the mediator, when my attorney went to the last meeting with the mediator, that they actually put 4 bad reviews in front of it. They put 4 bad reviews in front of it. Just in case somebody does read it, they want to make sure that they see 4 bad reviews in front of it.
Right.
Even reviews that weren't placed on Yelp originally. They had to search my history to get a review from another review site and put it on there just to make it look bad. That's what they do. Yeah. That's how they make money. That's why they're on the New York Stock Exchange. It's disgusting.
It is. It totally. I mean, you're probably one of 100 plus I've heard so far about this.
You've heard from 100. There's probably 100,000.
No, probably. I mean, so there's 1 million businesses. I think 1.2 million right now on Yelp. And I mean, if you just type in Yelp sucks on Google, like pages and pages, like non-stop complaints about this.
Yeah.
Did the 28 reviews? Did they all come in like one shot? Like were they sort of clumped in one, in 1 month, or? Do you remember?
The good reviews?
Yeah.
Well, they were. They probably were because I'm not used to having any negative reaction to my work. Mm-hmm. People, women, throw their arms around me and kiss me and hug me after. They bring tears come to their eyes when they witness the makeover, and so when I got some negative reviews, I asked patients to post reviews. I knew that they'd be good. My patients love me. They love my work. My work is great. I have the best ceramist in the world do my porcelain veneers. They're incredible. He does them just for me. And, he does them personally for me. He's got a very successful laboratory, and many dentists send work to him. And he has men that are trained by him to do equal quality. But mine all come from his hands, and he's taught the best. And so yeah, I asked my patients, and yeah, and a lot. Those 23 reviews, they came in right away.
What percentage of your business you think has been affected by this?
Well, the internet's huge.
Yeah, it's huge, yeah.
And this is the kind of procedure. You see, the thing about cosmetic dentistry, people who have beautiful smiles that nobody knows that their dentist made, they're not going to go out and advertise and say, you know, you have terrible teeth. You ought to go to my dentist, Dr. Maury Povich. See what a beautiful job he did for me? No. When somebody says to them, you have a beautiful smile, you know what they say? They don't say, Dr. Braverman did that. They say, thank you very much. Right. That's what they say. So it's important in cosmetic procedures of all kinds to get to market it. You have to market your credentials, right, and give the patients a good choice.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah, that's powerful.
You know, and then they know. I mean, that's so the internet is huge. And I was doing, you know, actually, the New York Magazine article, the 5 dentists, the other 4 had PR people. I was the only one without a PR person. You know what my PR was? The internet. He found me on the internet. I had a very strong presence on the internet because I recognized it very early on. What is this thing? Yeah. Why is this dentist come up the same at the top all the time? And I learned how to do it and to market my practice. I have patients now that come from Romania and go back on the same day. I have patients from Brazil, from Russia, from Germany.
Through the internet?
Yeah, through the internet. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this is for big cases, you know, very expensive work, very, very important work. And so, yeah, it can kill a business. There's no question.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Is there any
because you're not really getting it from your patient population. In traditional dentistry, somebody says, I have a great dentist, go to him, you know, and he send their family in there. And I have that kind of a practice, a certain part of my practice. But the major part of my income comes from the big cases of cosmetic cases.
Gotcha. Wow.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts to other people who might be suffering?
I can't believe how well I expressed myself. I'm very happy with this interview. I'm very glad that you called me. I hope this gets a lot of attention, and I hope we're successful in making them become honest and do the right thing and stop taking advantage and ruining small businesses and small practitioners and losing jobs and hurting incomes.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm at a, you know, I've done well in my life. I can weather the storm.
Yeah.
You know, but it's killing a lot of businesses that are counting on that to build and grow and hire, and they're getting squashed and by Yelp.
Right.
It's really wrong.